So last night I was doing a bit of sketching in my sketchbook, and I think I've really found something that I really enjoy. I was listening to a Cage the Elephant album, and I kind of illustrated the song in my sketchbook, if you can see it here. I think it was very successful and it shows my style quite well. Yeah, in today's video would just be illustrating song lyrics or song titles, so I hope you will be enjoying this. I'll show you a bit of the process of what I did last night in my sketchbook. I was trying to work with colored pencils and portraits because I want to expand my palette and I want to try different things. I think it actually started from this illustration. I started it on the train. I did a loose sketch of the woman on the train, and this was a view from the same day that I saw. I'm quite happy with how I rendered the proportions and the use of color. And a lot of the times in my work I use these boxes as backgrounds, but this time I try to be a bit more fluid and I think that works really well. So I put it on my story that I'm gonna be doing this today, and I've just been taking suggestions from people. I picked up lyrics or titles that sounded interesting to me. While I was listening to this song, there was a particular lyric that stood out to me, which was "She looks a lot like me," and I wanted to play with that idea. I picked up my colored pencils again as I wanted to keep exploring this vibrant color palette I've been using in my previous sketch. And recently I tried to be a bit more loose in my style and worry less about perfect proportions and realism, and in all honesty it's quite fun. For the references, I used some pictures of myself because I was kind of thinking of this idea that you look in the mirror and it kind of looks like you, but it's not really you. I decided to paint on top of this initial sketch as I wanted to play with gouache a bit. Recently I've got a few tubes of just the primary colors and a white, and I'm just been itching to use gouache a bit more. So yeah, on the first spread, I think it's because I was so stuck on this and I kind of tried to recreate it, but it's not quite so good. But I still quite like the style and the idea. But yeah, it's basically me looking at myself and then me again here. I'd never been to Boston. I just looked at some images from Google Maps and then a train journey basically. And the person actually requested to look into the first two lyrics of the song. I must admit it's been a hot minute since I've drawn buildings, and this actually made me want to go out in a bustling city and do some urban sketching. Initially, when I did the sketch with the liners, I wasn't quite so happy with it. I thought it was really messy, but once I put on the washes of watercolor, I was pleasantly surprised. I feel like it made the whole page and the whole sketch pop. I did go for a different style because I felt like I need to break out of this. I haven't actually tested liners and watercolors on this sketchbook together, so I think it ended up looking quite nice. And I think its composition is quite interesting. It's quite melancholic in a way and a bit nostalgic, and it does show that. With this song, I wanted to illustrate the title as it had a nice ring to it, and as a bit of a backstory. This summer I've been living in Portugal, and by seeing a lot of sightseeing in the countryside, it has given me quite a lot of artistic inspiration. I've been working in an art studio here as a graphic designer, and I've been surrounded by creative people, which has also helped me quite a bit with my artistic vision. For this particular piece, I used a picture of the North Coast as inspiration, and fun fact, this was from the most westerly point in Europe, which was quite fun. My interpretation of this lyric was more like "stop dreaming of your perfect life and start living. It just has this nostalgic feeling to it again, and I think a lot of the times when you think about dreams, it's always when you have a nice view. For my reference, I was scrolling on Pixels and I found a good picture of a diver that I used for my pose, and I really recommend using Pixels. It's a great library of copyright-free images. This one was a bit more different. It wasn't necessarily about a lyric, but more about a title. I really like this song. It's instrumental but very enjoyable. In fact, I do recommend listening to the whole album. It's very fun. The last one, this wasn't a suggestion, this is actually the first one I did. I'm really obsessed with this song. It's really nice. It's instrumental, so it doesn't have any lyrics, but it just made me think of being on holiday, being by the sea, being on the beach, and I just wanted to do something about that. Okay, so it's almost the end of the day and I thought it would be nice to do a bit of an update. So I did quite a few pages in my sketchbook and I did a few illustrations, but I think I'm getting to the point where I'm reaching my limit. I was starting on a different sketch, but I don't actually have a lyric in mind. I just started sketching something else because I felt like I needed to break out of it. I might associate a song with it, but I'm not quite sure yet, so we'll see about that tomorrow. So I filmed this one later in the evening in the end. I wasn't quite sure where I'm going with it, but I was inspired a bit by this album cover that one of my Instagram suggestions from one of my friends came from. And also I wanted to mention I really appreciate everyone that has left suggestions. Unfortunately, I haven't had enough hours in the day to illustrate all of them. But if this video performs well, I'm more than happy to film a second part. It was really fun and I really hope you enjoyed it too. So that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. It was very entertaining. I listened to some songs I never heard before. And yeah, just give me some suggestions in the comments. What would you like to see me doing in my sketchbook? I hope you stick around and don't forget to leave me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.